Look, I want to speak about the impact that the ongoing lockdown is having on our young people and children. All of us recognised back in March that it was absolutely necessary, in order to protect elderly people and to protect the vulnerable, that we introduced emergency and urgent measures. When we saw what was happening in Spain and in Italy, it was absolutely imperative that we brought in measures for the purpose of ensuring that our intensive care units weren't overrun the way they were done in that country. In fact, it would have been reckless for us not to do so. Now, those regulations and the lockdown have had a very significant impact and inconvenience on people's lives. However, we've been prepared to go along with it because it's for the common good. However, there's one category that I think haven't been given sufficient attention for the sacrifices that they have made, and that category is the category of children and young people. All of them have had their social, their personal, their educational and indeed their sporting development affected by the lockdown and by the regulations. They have behaved selflessly and they have been prepared to go along with this, and in fact they have subordinated their own interests beneath the interests of the common good and those who are vulnerable in society, particularly those who are elderly. And I think we need to recognise that, and I think we need to recognise the role played by young people and indeed by children. I now think, however, that the government and indeed the Minister needs to place greater emphasis on trying to reinstate some normality into the lives of children and young people. We need to get a plan in place so that they know when they're going to go back to school, when they can go back playing with their friends, when they can go back and start exercising with their friends. The reality is that we have done well in reducing the virus in this country. We have flattened the curve. But we're not going to be eliminating this virus until such time as we have a vaccine, and that is going to take a number of years. However, what we can't do is indefinitely put our children and young people's lives, and indeed the lives of others, at a standstill while we await the development of a vaccine. We need to learn to live with this virus. And what that means is that we need to have a proper and efficient and speedy testing system in place. That's the only way by which we can live with this virus, if we have a speedy testing system in place. If we have a speedy testing system in place, people can be tested. They'll know within 24 hours whether they're positive or negative. Those who are negative can go on about their ordinary lives without any inconvenience. Those who test positive will have to isolate themselves for a period of time. That is how countries who have handled this well have succeeded. Unfortunately, to date, the government hasn't handled the issue of testing well. We need to ensure that our testing is much more efficient and speedy so that we can get our children and young people back to normality and get them back amongst their friends. I also would like, if I had time, but I don't, to talk about the particular issues of children in direct provision who are greatly affected, and indeed young women who have been smuggled into this country and who are suffering as a result of being part of the sex industry. I shudder to think how those women are coping now. Thank you, Cearla.